The United Nations exists to help relieve this kind of suffering and to help redress its root causes. That is why every day, courageous and committed men and women are serving under the blue flag of the United Nations in war zones, in humanitarian emergencies, and in poor communities all over the world. They are diplomats negotiating access to civilians or ceasefires among warring factions. They are soldiers and police shielding ordinary men and women and children from violence and helping to implement peace agreements. They are aid workers arranging food deliveries and protecting refugees. Human rights experts helping to strengthen the rule of law. Economists and agronomists advising communities how to produce more food and distribute it better. They are in the front line of larger freedom. I hope that some of you will join them and that all of you will recognize the value of their work. They are working today to offer hope to the people of Haiti, Kosovo, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, and a host of other countries. They are assisting the political transition in Iraq, where the United Nations helped draft the legal framework for last January's elections and to train thousands of workers for polling day. They are in Afghanistan, in the occupied Palestinian territory, and in Lebanon, helping to conduct elections and to promote stable, inclusive political institutions and long-term peace. They are saving lives from famine and disease in Darfur, while working with the African Union to protect people from the appalling crimes that have been committed there and to find lasting political solution to the conflict. On the other side of the Indian Ocean, they are assisting devastated regions in 10 nations recover and rebuild after the tsunami last December. These men and women who serve the United Nations are carrying out mandates given to them by the sovereign states that make up the organization's membership, whether in the Security Council or in the General Assembly. They are doing work that no single country either can or wants to do on its own. They could do very little of this work without the enormous diplomatic and financial contribution of the United States. Nor could they do it without the contributions of many other countries, particularly those who provide the troops, nearly 70,000 of them, who are deployed in some 18 United Nations peacekeeping operations on 4 continents. But I'm far from complacent about the United Nations today. Just as America has had to struggle throughout its history to move ever closer to the ideals declared by its founders, so too the United Nations is a work in progress. If we are to keep alive the idea that gave birth to the organization and to pass it on, healthy and strong, to your generation, we must make sure that the United Nations moves with the times. That is why I have put before the member states for their decision a blueprint called In Larger Freedom for a truly overhauled United Nations set up to meet the challenges of the 21st century. The United Nations must live up to the highest standards of integrity and accountability, and I am committed to ensuring that it does. But the major reform decisions rest with the member states. The reform agenda includes a clear stand against terrorism, a tighter regime to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, more support for democracies, and better peacekeeping and humanitarian capacities. It also calls for an urgent boost in resources from rich nations to cut the world poverty in half within the next 10 years, and a new human rights body at the United Nations to focus on the implementation of all human rights in all countries. These changes would not solve all the world's problems, nor would they make the United Nations perfect, but they would make the UN much more effective in advancing the cause of larger freedom around the world. World leaders are going to meet in New York in 4 months' time to take up these proposals. If they can work together to make far-reaching reforms, they will help bequeath to your generation a United Nations that can carry forward the ideals for which your grandparents sacrificed so much 6 decades ago. And I trust that when it comes to your turn to lead, you will improve on what my generation has done. Do not think you can look away from the injustice, the suffering, or the lack of true freedom that is the lot of so many people in the world today. Your future depends on their future. The cause of larger freedom should be your cause. As I look at you today, with all your talent, your diversity, your commitment, and your optimism, I have no doubt that you will do your part and help make it come about. Congratulations and good luck to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.